Like, I grew up on a farm, but I don't know how to fix a tractor.
Fix a T-Raptor?
Okay, you can't. That's our word. Hello and welcome to another edition of Popcorn Bucket List, the show that asks the question: if a civil war were to hypothetically start here in America, what would your faction be called? Mine would be the Nix Northerners.
I like
just
that.
because I mean, like we wouldn't even be violent. Like we'd like hide out in the woods up north.
Yeah,
that's why we'd be called the Northerners. We would just kind of run away.
When you say up north, you mean like up northern Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it happens to also, I mean, if we end up in Canada, I'm not gonna whoopsie.
Yeah.
Well,
if a civil war is going on, they might not be quite as concerned about border security between
us
northern
and Canada.
Yeah.
Although it would be the perfect time for Canada to strike.
It would
invade us.
I think people are sleeping on Canada.
I mean, not to get us too off. I'm probably gonna cut this because this is way too off topic. But we actually fought them in the War of 1812.
Did we?
They beat us.
No.
We tried invading their country at least 2, if not 3 times. Really? And we failed. We are.
I wouldn't say we failed. We didn't succeed.
Okay, already off to a great start this episode. What would your faction be called?
My faction
that was the whole point I was starting with this, by the way.
Yes.
To get to this point.
Berg's Iceman.
Iceman.
Yep. And we would be.
Would you all have like an Air Force Iceman from Top Gun?
Ooh.
Would you all? I'm saying would you all have like the same helmet then, basically?
Actually, we would be. I would say we would be based in the winter. So if there's fighting in the winter, we'll fight.
You would.
If it's in the summer,
would do good in a fight in the winter.
Yep. If it's in the winter or summer, we're not. That's too hot. Yep. In the winter, we'll have our bear coats on. Hiding in, we'll be all like Liam Neeson's. It's gonna be great.
Anyways, that's a little bit of that's actually a couple teases to what we got coming on here today. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the big blockbuster Civil War. That's the reason why we are bringing up these names and whatnot. But for the opening spotlight, we're going to be discussing a little bit of a different topic here: severe weather and disaster. Something to be prepared for at all times, especially this week, as the week we are recording this is Severe Weather Awareness Week here for the state of Minnesota. I think as well for Wisconsin, but we don't really care about Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Whatever. Yeah. Is that even Wisconsin who? I don't know.
Somewhere over there.
I don't know. But we are talking severe weather awareness. And, we kind of opened it up a little bit to disasters, natural, unnatural sort of stuff as well, because we wanted to open it up a little bit here. Plus, we got the Twisters movie coming out here in summer. I'm sure we're going to be focusing more on tornadoes later on because I'm a little bit of a weather nut.
Yes.
I don't know if you know this. You're a little bit of a weather nut too. You've been at the Storm Spotter classes with me.
It's I love it. It's fun. And it's kind of unique because here in Minnesota we get quite a few different things. Obviously, the more southern states have different. We have a couple overlapping severe possibilities that can happen to us, but we have a good wide selection up here in the north.
I was going to say, they're literally, as we're recording this, dealing with some tornado watches down there right now. It hasn't really dropped much, but that's been
there might be a chance for us next week.
That's what I heard. Yep. That's what I heard. So what better way to enjoy some severe weather awareness than with some movies and stuff?
Have a plan. Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
I feel like we're making Carter guess which camera to go to right now.
Pick the right one.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Have a plan. Good bit. Improv right there. All right. So, in traditional PBL format, we are going to be talking about severe weather. We are talking about disaster movies, but we like to break it down into categories. We like to spread it out a little bit and give plenty of recommendations. So, I decided to focus on the 4 elements.
What?
Earth, wind, fire, water. Is that your water bottle?
This is
popping off.
Yep.
It's kind of warm down here.
It is.
No one's turned on the AC yet. We haven't transitioned from winter
to summer,
spring yet. Yeah. So it's a little warmer down here. So that's definitely popping off here. Some of these categories can be a little bit more open to interpretation. One, I'm really curious how actually, no, it kind of makes sense, but we'll get into that more here. But let's kick things off Actually, before we kick things off, I almost forgot here.
Oh.
Part of the reason why we're talking about this topic here is obviously because it's Severe Weather Awareness Week, but we are also continuing our partnership with the Marshall-Lyon County Library. Some of the movies we're going to talk about here is going to be in our display case over there, and some other ones may show up in there as well. So if you want some more recommendations as far as severe weather disaster sort of movies, head on over to the Marshall-Lyon County Library to check out our display. But with that, let's just go right into the opening spotlight here then. Let's start with Earth. Again, a little bit more open to interpretation.
Yep.
I really like yours, though, so I want you to kick us off here because I didn't even think of this one. This is a good pick, I think.
So when we first talked about this, the movie that first popped in my head was Tremors. And it was like, no, that's not really a kind of a disaster-y weather movie. So I decided to go with Mad Max Fury Road. And I suppose you could probably do any of the Mad Maxes, but Fury Road I thought was an absolutely phenomenal film, won a bunch of Oscars. Special effects are amazing. Tom Hardy does great in it. Charlize Theron was awesome in it. And I'm super pumped for the new Mad Max Furiosa. It's going to be great. But the reason I did this is like it's kind of like a sandy, deserty world. And
it's very dry. It's very dirty.
Yeah.
Very earthy.
Very earthy.
For sure. Yeah, that's a really good pick. I didn't even think of that one. I mean, yeah, you really couldn't put that down for water because there's lack of water. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
That's kind of why they're doing what they're doing.
All their stuff.
Yeah. For my pick for Earth, I'm going to go out here on a limb and say this is not the best movie ever made, but this is one of those movies that knew exactly what it was doing when it was being made. The Rock's San Andreas. This is the reason why I won't move to Hollywood. I know you did, and you took a chance, and I respect you for that.
Yeah.
I won't because there's the threat of this happening at any moment. It could happen right now.
It could
actually
be
happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, that San Andreas fault scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being here in the Midwest because, yeah, we have our severe weather, but we have, like, a little bit of a warning. Like even you just mentioned at the beginning of this episode, we have a little bit of an idea next week. Maybe there's some chance of severe weather.
Yep.
Never, ever have I turned on the news and be like, oh, FYI, everyone on the West Coast, maybe an earthquake next week.
Yeah.
There was an earthquake that hit New York last week randomly. No warning there. Earthquakes scare the crud out of me. So the only person I would trust to be in the middle of this sort of disaster would be Dwayne Johnson. I was willing to be with this guy through all the craziness of the San Andreas, just rocking the world here.
Yep.
And this was probably like peak Dwayne Johnson too.
I was going to say, this was,
there was a couple years there where he had like one big hit after another, and this was kind of in that peak. So
yeah.
That's kind of my Earth pick. Do you mind taking over actually for wind here first? I have two, and I'm kind of debating on at this point. I need a little extra time to figure out what I want to do here.
Did I pick Snowpiercer for this one?
You did. You have Snowpiercer down.
The reason I decided to go with Snowpiercer, first off, great film. I would officially count it as Willy Wonka canon, that this is what happens at the end of the Willy Wonka timeline, where everybody's on a sustainable train and Mr. Wonka is the engineer. And anyways, that's a whole side bit.
If you haven't gone down that rabbit hole, don't.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It'll ruin your childhood.
Also, it's got Chris Evans in it. And Octavia Spencer's in it, I believe. Fantastic film. But the reason I brought it up for wind is there's one scene in there where they stick a guy's arm out of the train, and between how cold it is and how fast they're going on the train, it freezes and then they shatter it, and then it's just like an amputation because it's frozen and then it's done. So that's the reason why I picked that, because wind was kind of hard. Obviously the one is Twister, but I couldn't really think of anything else. So, and Snowpiercer is a really good film, so I went with that.
Yeah, I am going to go with Twister. As someone who has been interested in storm spotting and tornadoes since like the 6th grade, I can tell you the inaccuracies of that movie. If we had a week, I don't know if I could describe everything wrong with it. But it's a blockbuster. It's got Bill Pullman, Helen Hunt, early Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
Like, this was one of his first big roles.
Yeah.
And it spawned sort of a new generation of storm chasers and everything like that. So I got to give the movie kind of credit for that, I suppose. But don't go into that movie. And more than likely, I'm just going to go on a bet here and say the Twisters sequel is not going to be accurate either. Just thinking off the top of my head.
I think you're right
on that one. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, but I'm probably going to be right on that one. Don't go into Twister for accuracy. Go into it just for a good Bill Pullman fun, because we lost that guy way too soon. Yeah, I'm going to go Twisters for Wind.
All right.
I mean, the only other option was The Happening, because The Wind is the villain. But
yeah,
I mean, watch it if you want to like have a laugh when you're not supposed to, I guess. But anyways, yeah, I'm going with Twister. Fire. Ryan, why don't you take it away? What's your fire pick?
What did I pick?
Skyscraper.
Oh, all right. So for my pick with fire, I went with another Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, WrestleMania 2024 All-Star. That one's for you up there. That one's for you. I went with Skyscraper because towards the end, I think the skyscraper starts on fire and he has to get out. But this is kind of, I would say, at the tail end of that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson like hype era, where it was just blockbuster after blockbuster. And how could you make a movie about a guy like going up and down a skyscraper like fun and entertaining? And you were able to do it. So that's what I was thinking, because I always like think of there's a scene where he's hanging out on the ledge and there's fire all around him, and that's always pops.
At first,
in my head.
I was kind of when I saw that, I was like, wait, why does that have to do with fire? And then I do remember, a large part of it does get engulfed.
Yeah, and then
in flames.
And then it turns into like almost like a Fast and the Furious, like, oh, that's how that happens.
Yeah.
You can just do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They took what Die Hard did and just kind of cranked it to an 11 and then broke the dial off, unfortunately. So they couldn't bring it back down. But, for my fire, I was thinking about, like, asteroid impacting the Earth movies.
Yep.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of forces in there. Ultimately, you could actually use any of these elements to use that. But I'm going to go with fire. I'm going to say Don't Look Up. That's actually my favorite asteroid hitting the Earth movie. I like it better than Armageddon. I like it better than Deep Impact.
Yeah.
And to be honest, and I don't know why, I wasn't even the biggest fan of Deep Impact.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, when you ask them, like, oh, Armageddon, Deep Impact, like, a lot of them say Deep Impact.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in a neither boat, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I like Don't Look Up because I'm a big fan of Adam McKay. I'm a big fan of Leo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Jonah Hill. I mean, we're learning a little bit more about that guy being a jerk, but he's still a pretty good actor. Both can be true. Yeah. It has a really good cast overall, and I think it is. You look back at what happened with the eclipse here, and people like spun a bunch of conspiracies about the eclipse.
Yep.
And it's like you could totally see something as satirical as Don't Look Up is.
Yeah.
You could totally see a lot of this happening.
Yes, and I could. It's one of the things I think would be like the most plausible out of all the films we've talked about so far. Very easily seeing people go just bananas. And this was just, like you said, an eclipse.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool. But I didn't know that.
The fact that anyone wasted their time with conspiracy theories at all over this event that has happened multiple times. We've seen it happen multiple times. Yep. And people are still like, oh, it's not real, or you can look straight at it. You don't need glasses. Like, okay, we'll just let you learn the hard way, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. And that just kind of occurred to me and if you watch Don't Look Up, it does kind of take that idea to the max. That's the point of satire.
Yep.
That's what some of these, that's going to kind of be a theme in my next one here, I think, as well. But it's sad to think of that I look at that and I go, well, maybe that would actually happen the way it is.
Yeah.
But I only speak the truth here. This one may be the most difficult one for me here. The number 6 seed, Footloose, versus the number 11 seed, Karate Kid. Who's voting Footloose? Who's voting Karate Kid? I thought I was going to have to fight for that one. I thought for sure I was going to have to fight for that. I had like a whole argument ready to go. He just crane kicked Footloose out of here. No more dancing. I'm going to get heat from my mom on that one. Moving on to the final segment here, water. One of the most powerful forces on the earth. That is not my opinion. That is scientific facts. It made the Grand Canyon.
Alternative facts.
Nope, don't do that. Don't do that to me. I don't want to fire you. I don't have time to do that right now. For that, I'm going to go first now. I'm going to go first, and then I'm just going to cut your answer for time. So
I'll keep it short.
No, I'm just going to cut it in general. You will be silenced.
No.
That is true power, friends. I almost thought about going with Snowpiercer on this one as well, because snow is water and it counts and everything. I am going to, however, go with The Day After Tomorrow. Again, similar with Twister, is it a blockbustery, over-the-top kind of thing? Yes. But there is a part of it that I do kind of like, and it is the fact that no matter how much we know about weather doesn't care about the rules we think we figured out.
Yeah.
Every time you think you've got a certain weather pattern or a certain meteorological event figured out, like this is how it's going to happen, this, Mother Nature throws a curveball.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this movie takes it to an extreme in that they basically say, look, we think another ice age is coming. We think another like big weather event's going to bring the temperatures down. These storms are going to happen. We think it's going to happen. It's going to be way down the line. We have time to prepare. And then like 3 days later, all of a sudden the storm happens.
It's here.
Yeah. So again, very extreme example of, hey, we think we got weather figured out. Weather says, nah, you don't.
Yeah.
Would it happen in that sort of time scale? No, obviously not. But it's that theme that I do like, because that is a very realistic thing when it comes to severe weather, disasters, all this. The second you think we've got it all figured out, we don't.
Yep.
We absolutely don't. And that's kind of the scariest part about weather and everything, I think. That makes a lot of these movies easy to make, I think. Because San Andreas, it seems like an extreme thing. It could happen.
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road, something like that could happen if we play our cards wrong, Yeah. Twister, Snowpiercer, all these things are things that are weather mismanaged. And these are like cautionary tales, but like every other natural disaster, post-apocalyptic movie, they could be cautionary tales, but we just see it as entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
That does a little bit of a rant there.
It was good. It was good because I think that'll kind of lead into some of the things I want to say about the movie coming up that we'll talk about.
This is kind of a grim episode. I'm not going to lie. Like,
it's fun, though. I like it.
This. It just happened. It's a very grim episode. But also, last point here, Jake Gyllenhaal. This is like an early Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
He's pretty good in this, too.
Yeah,
I liked him in this, too.
He's good.
Yeah, Day After Tomorrow. That's what I'm talking about here. Take us away. What is your final pick dealing with water?
Well, like you, I decided to go with the snow route because Berg's Iceman. That's why. So I went with Liam Neeson's The Gray. This is a film where Liam Neeson, I think he protects people that are working up, I want to say in Alaska. I could be off. It's been a while since I've seen it. But some wolves are attacking and their cars and stuff get destroyed. So he's trying to make his way back home. But he's actually leading into a wolf's den and is fighting off the elements, fighting off the wolves. And then this has some people really like the ending. Some people didn't. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And yeah, it was just it's a fun movie. Kind of dark. And it's a little,
like I said, grim episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what else
but
to say.
I really liked it because when we do talk about disasters in the world, like I've heard rumors or alternative facts, or I don't know what they are, but about animals that are in Chernobyl that have like kind of grown not resistant to the radiation, but they can live there. Mm-hmm. Like there's animals that are coming back and actually like they might be like weirdly mutated or something, but they are able to live. So it's nature always finds a way to do stuff. So it's just one of those things.
It's what Ian Malcolm said in the Jurassic Park movies, right? Nature finds a way.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote, but yeah, it is a cautionary tale. Yep. And it's I'm in the camp of I don't like the ending as much, just because I've seen him go through so much at this point, and it's cool to see him. It's hard enough to survive in the wilderness. Let's be honest here. It's 10 times harder during the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, we know this. We live in Minnesota. How much harder is it to get to our cars after a blizzard? As opposed to in the summer.
Yep. And if you're walking like in the real wilderness, not on like sometimes paved city streets. Not here. Our streets are great. You guys are awesome. But other places where they might only snow plow every once in a while, but when you're out in nature where snow could be 10 feet deep, you have no idea. Like it's a different beast.
Yeah, for sure. But that is going to do it for the opening spotlight. Let us know what are some of your favorite natural disaster, weather-related blockbuster movies, or not so blockbuster, indie films too. We like hearing those as well. But let's transition then to the weekly preview. Not a lot to talk about as far as quantity of movies, but I have a feeling we might have a longer discussion on at least one of these here.
The second one.
Yeah, for sure, the second one. You got a lot of thoughts on Epic Tales?
Not a lot.
All right, Friday, April 12th, that's the day we're talking about here. Alex Garland's Civil War coming straight to theaters. He's the guy who made Ex Machina and Annihilation, 2 huge mind-bending hits.
Yep.
Seems like that's going to be kind of the trend here as well. Something that is going to not so much blow your mind in a sci-fi way, but kind of blow your mind in a philosophical way.
Yeah.
Not a lot, I feel like, was given away with these trailers. It's just America's under essentially a second civil war. You don't know who to trust. There's different factions. You know, the first Civil War, there was essentially 2. Here, there's, I guess, at least 3.
Yep. The map 3 are up for power grabs.
Yeah, the map is a little confusing. I had to pull it up here. I'll probably put it up as a graphic here for you folks to check out here as well. You know, like I said, there's like 3, maybe 4 factions. Mm-hmm. Let's break it down here. You got the Loyalist states, which takes up a huge bulk of the country here. The Florida Alliance, which is basically just the South all over again. There's another part called the Western Forces, but it's under the same color as the Florida Alliance, so I don't know if maybe they have a team thing there. I don't know. And then the Republic of Texas and California. They're just kind of doing their own thing,
which is we'll get into.
No, okay. Well, let's get into. I mean, okay. So you watch this trailer, and it's very much like kind of a worst case scenario thing.
Yeah.
And as you kind of alluded to, that's kind of a theme to a lot of these weather movies. Is these are worst case scenarios. They're not implausible, however. You want to think they're impossible, but there is a chance. And I hate to say it, but you hope it won't go ever to this far. Maybe this is just the optimist in me. I'm just kidding. I'm not an optimist about anything. I'm a realist about anything. Maybe this is just blind realism. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't think it would ever get this far, especially considering how there are multiple factions and everything split up too. But you look at the political climate these last few years, and it's definitely closer to that line than I'd like it to be. For sure.
I agree 100%.
I don't know. There's just a lot of symbolism in this movie. There's a lot of I want to talk about a little bit more of the who can you and cannot trust thing though, because there is a very impactful part of this trailer, and we haven't even gotten to the cast here. Let's talk about a few people who are in this movie. We got Kristen Dunst, MJ Watson coming back, Nick Offerman as the president. That's
going to be awesome.
That casting just makes all the sense.
Yeah, that's perfect. Spot on.
I know. And then friend of the show, Jesse Plemons.
Yep. He's a dog.
Also, real life spouse to Kirsten Dunst.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that too. So hey, you know what? If you're gonna work on a Civil War movie, might as well do it with your spouse.
You know what? Do they have kids together by any chance? Do you know? Because if they did,
good question.
That would be quite the. because a lot of times I know like celebrities, if they're together and they're working on a film, then their kids have a lot more access to them because both parents are there. You're doing a lot, like you have more time with your family, which is a good thing. And it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, thank you for vamping there while I found that out. They do have 2 kids.
Yeah. So like you get the good family time, and then it's like, oh, mom and dad are either maybe fighting each other in a civil war.
I do want to see. I do want to see that behind the scenes where like they were like getting up in the morning, getting them ready for school or whatever. I don't know. It seems like they were filming a lot on location here.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right, kids, have fun in school. Mom and daddy have to go be at odds.
Yeah.
Because one of them clearly plays like a wartime photographer, reporter.
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons plays a soldier. For what side? Who knows?
Who knows?
What side
he's a real American citizen.
Yeah.
So did he?
Yeah. Because he captures these guys and they're like, no, we're Americans. He's like, which kind of American?
What kind of American?
Because again, there's multiple factions here.
Yeah.
And I do think that is the part where it definitely goes. This is definitely something I don't know if I would see as much happening. I feel like if something like this did happen, we pick one side or the other. There's no like multiple.
Yeah, it's these 2 sides. That's it. And sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say like this to me is a very interesting, and I want to see how they do it because obviously there is 2 major parties in the United States right now, and they do seem at odds with each other. And this movie is, I would say, loosely exploring what would happen if they were to go to civil war. However, it's clearly not the same division that we have in the real world because California and Texas are fighting together.
Okay, so that was one of the other parts I was going to bring up here.
Yeah.
Out of all the things that are in here, like we said, a lot of them seem a little far-fetched, but maybe plausible. The only thing that I would be like, there is absolutely no way this is ever going to happen is Texas and California teaming up together.
Yes. They would never.
If I had to pick 2 states who would never team up together ever under any context,
yes,
it would be those 2.
Yes. And I think they made, like, I think that was a conscious choice to make this seem more fictionalized
yes.
than, because if you were to just maybe, I'm sure, just change a handful of things to make it line up with the real world more, you could easily see this like that's very clear. But
and I'm curious to see another thing. The trailer, I've been hitting the mic more and more often. Have I been putting it lower than usual? I feel like I've just been hitting it more. I don't know.
Gotta raise the bar.
I guess, yeah, I gotta raise the bar. Let's do that right now. Let's just raise the bar. Here we go.
There you go. Perfect.
There we go. Bar's been raised. And another thing I feel like this trailer does very smartly, it does not give a lot away. It gives the tension and it gives the mistrust. And those are the 2 selling factors. It doesn't really talk about what it is that divided America. They don't say if it's a specific election, whatever. It doesn't give a lot of details.
Yeah.
But it gives exactly what it needs to give away, which are going to be the strengths of this movie, I think.
And it's going to be interesting to see what they do, as in, how are they going to incorporate? If they do, are they going to have AI in this? Because Ex Machina, fantastic film.
Delves
just about
a lot
AI.
into AI, yep.
Annihilation, all about aliens and communication. And, even Ex Machina is about communication and with the AI. How is he going to portray that in here? Because I know.
Or is Alex Garland going somewhere a little bit different with this? Is he saying like, I've done this, I was ahead of my time, I'm gonna get a jump on this one now too?
Yeah, maybe. Just because I think, obviously, we've all seen the fake Donald Trump videos, the fake Joe Biden videos, the fake Joe Rogan videos talking about whatever, and in the words of maybe another friend of the show, Philip DeFranco, it's only gonna get better. Today is the worst that it's ever been. You're
talking about the technology itself. It is only going to quote unquote improve. Whether its effect on society is
And I find videos all the time that are very clearly fake, very easily fake, and I know a lot of people don't see that, and it's like, you're sharing this thinking it's real, and this isn't real. This is not.
I think we have that advantage, though, working in media and working in production. Like, we kind of see that stuff a little bit easier. Because all the time, I'll even look at it and go, well, no, that's it's clearly green screen behind them. They're like, how can you tell? I'm like, well, this, and this. And it's just second nature.
Yeah.
It's just something we've worked with.
Yeah.
But, not everyone has that exposure to us. So I agree with you. It is kind of surprising. We are definitely getting a little off topic here going into an AI discussion right now. But it is kind of surprising how some people are kind of like, oh, this is real, bro. I'm like, no, it's not. You can tell because of this, like, here's 5 reasons.
Yeah.
And then they like hear that. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, I didn't want to make you feel dumb. It's just, you know how many other things there are, subjects out there that people could like school me on?
Yep. Yeah.
Like I grew up on a farm, but I don't know how to fix a tractor.
Fix a T-Raptor?
Okay, you can't. That's our word.
Whose word?
The farm people. Okay, we're going to transition now. Let's get, it's been a very grim episode.
Yep.
We've been talking about a lot of severe stuff, a lot of war. Let's end today with a little bit on a light note. This is a movie that, to my knowledge, seems to be only coming to CEC theaters. So specifically out there, the Marshall 6 crowd, you'll be able to check this one out. Epic Tales. This movie is an animated movie about a mouse living in the prime days of ancient Greece when the literal god Poseidon of the sea threatens the city. The mouse and ragtag group of friends must set sail and save the day. This being a kid animated movie, I refer to you because you actually have kind of the prime demographic at your house.
Yep.
I do not because I live alone.
Yep.
But I defer to you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it looks okay. It's a very, I would say, a generic kids movie. With the rise of the internet and short form content and animation, quote unquote, getting easier to do, you're seeing a lot more studios, a lot more people getting into the space. Whereas like even 10 years ago, whenever animated movies come out, you could say, oh, that's a Disney movie. That's a Pixar movie. That's a Studio Ghibli movie. That's like they're very kind of niche, but now since the market and the technology and everything's grown, you can find all sorts of like some of the YouTube videos that are made for kids, like that are actual like real YouTube videos made for kids that are like educational and like animated. They're pretty good, and then some that aren't good, but some are really good. So I think it's a newer company getting a shot, and I always like that.
Yeah, I think it is, in the grand scheme of all the studios out there, I think it is a newer one. I think they were also the group who did the Jungle Bunch, which I think also came into Marshall 6, what was it, like a year or two ago?
Something like that.
I don't know. Kung Fu Panda's been doing very good
these
last few weeks, but there hasn't really been a new kids movie here. Yep. So I do think this movie will hopefully make its money back just because you got to get the kids to the theater and everything.
But now with spring rolling around, everybody wants to be outside. So
yeah, but there is rain in the forecast. So
true.
Just keep an eye out.
Maybe
for
some
those days.
Severe weather.
Well, okay. I wouldn't suggest what am I trying to say here?
There's a chance.
Am I saying a theater technically is kind of partially underground, so maybe it'd be a good place to ride out a storm? Right. Am I saying that? No. Am I not saying that? I don't know what I'm endorsing at this point.
I don't know.
I don't.
Just wind and rain. Go check out a movie.
Okay, but even wind and rain can do. Anyways, all right. I'm not really sure what I'm saying at this point. Here's what I do know. Let's get into some number one recommends here this week. Ryan, you got anything to talk about this week?
Yes, I do.
What do you got to recommend?
So, as of recently, we've decided to start watching the Amazon series Reacher. I had not seen these before. I really enjoyed the films. I know some people didn't like the films, and I know some people said they enjoyed the TV show a lot better, saying it was more closer to the book. I did not read the books. Thought the movie was great. Tom Cruise did great. I do think this show is really good. We got about 3 episodes left, and then we're done with the first season, but I've enjoyed every episode so far. What's his name? I don't even remember.
Alan
Richardson. Alan Richardson, awesome. I remember him from Blue Mountain State, and he was just a total goof. And then now it's like, you're actually a pretty good actor.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. One of these days, we're going to have to do a deep dive on his career because I 100% agree. I probably first saw him in Blue Mountain State as well. And to see, when I kind of first started seeing him taking on some of these action series roles, I'm like, That's the same guy. Yeah, that's Thad?
That's Thad.
This guy played Aquaman in Smallville.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lower comic book hero than Aquaman on CW level budget TV.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a scale suit. It was Under Armour that was brightly colored.
Oh.
And I'm like, you did all right, Thad.
Yep.
You did all right.
Yeah,
for sure. Have you just gone through season 1, or have you started season 2 yet?
Not yet. We're almost done with season 1.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen season 1. I still need to see season 2 as well. The recommend I'm going to talk about here this week in the theme of Alex Garland and AI, Ex Machina. I'm doing a little bit of a rewatch of some of his films. I'm going to hopefully catch some before and after Civil War. But Ex Machina, oh my gosh.
Such a good movie.
We talked about her, that Joaquin Phoenix movie kind of being ahead of its time as far as AI. I hope we don't look back on Ex Machina and being like that was really ahead of its time, because some of the stuff with that AI is like even scarier than like Terminator.
Yeah.
Because like it's an AI robot and it's like knowing how to be stealthy.
Yeah. It's
the
knowing
best way I could put
how
it.
to trick / I don't know if I like
It's
the word
manipulative.
seduce. Manipulative. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a much
Well,
better.
no, she just
Yeah.
I can't even talk. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
4 hours in like 20 minutes because I took a 20-minute power nap before we filmed. So if I seem really crazy this week, that's why. I apologize.
That's the only reason why.
It is. It is the only reason why. What other reason would it be? No, she straight up seduces him, and it's not like Terminator AI where they're just like, look, we're stronger than you. We're gonna blast and explode everything.
Yeah.
It's almost spy-like, and it's like that's the AI that scares me, is the one that it isn't just like automatically flip of the switch, I'm better than you. It's the one that kind of learns not only that it's better than us, but then figures out how to do it.
Yeah.
And you don't even realize it's happening, sort of thing. So that's a little bit of a spoiler to the movie here, but you still check it out. Oscar Isaac, the guy who played General Hux and Poe Dameron, both in this movie before they fought each other in Star Wars, which I always thought was funny. A great job in this movie. So that's my number 1 recommend this week. And that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. Once again, if you want a few more suggestions for our severe weather movies or disaster movies in general, check out our display over at the Marshall-Lyon County Library for some other recommendations. Also, depending on when you're watching this, there still may be some opportunities to check out an Inspector Calls. We had a couple of the stars on here last week. It was a really great discussion. I hope to have them both on here some other time as well. They, I was told they were some movie nerds, and they showed up. They stepped up to the bat and proved that for sure. So go and check out their production and Inspector Calls at the SMSU Theater. Check out their website or their Facebook page for showtimes. For myself and Ryan Myberg, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.